This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Pedestrian safety is a two-way street. Both drivers and walkers need to do their part to keep roads safe. When you're walking, remember, the drivers may not always see you, so remember to use these tips to continue to walk safely. Wear bright clothes. Always use crosswalks and obey signs. Lights and reflectors should be used. And finally, keep alert and do not walk distracted. This message brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
CJ Used Appliances, located at 3530 Jackson Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances have the best prices in town, sales and service, heating and air. Also the best appliances you'll find anywhere in the Mid-South. Refrigerators, microwave stoves, washers and dryers, deep freezers, dishwashers, whatever you need in used appliances. And folks, I'll tell you, they're the best used appliances anywhere you'll find. That's CJ Used Appliances, 3530 Jackson Avenue. All appliances come with warranty. You can call them at 901-487-7882. Again, 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances. Graphic Printing, located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, a complete print shop for all your printing needs. They do it all: color copies, resumes, funeral programs, rubber stamps, full-color business cards, wedding and graduation invitations, and more. 30-plus years of quality work and service. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, Tennessee, 901-345-9294. Graphic Printing. C&S Motors Auto Sales, located at 2508 Summer Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-323-8778. C&S Motors Auto Sales has been around since 1984. Go by and see Chris today for some of the best pre-owned and used vehicles in the city. They have SUVs, minivans, cars, trucks, whatever you're looking for in pre-owned used vehicles. Hey, you can find it right there at C&S Motors Auto Sales. See Chris since 1984. They will treat you right. Call them at 901-323-8778. That's 901-323-8778, 2508 Summer Avenue, C&S Motors Auto Sales.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.
And welcome to another edition live of Talk Back Live Sports. We are live in the building on a Tuesday, November the 26th edition of the show. Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, for watching, for listening wherever you may be, however you may be listening or watching. We appreciate y'all for checking me out on this afternoon. It is 2:20, 20 minutes past the hour, 2 o'clock, man, and we are in full effect. I'm your host, Joshua Midget, here on Talk Back Live Sports, and man, do we got a lot to talk about today. Real quick, if you don't know about Talk Back Live Network, well, I'm here to inform you about that. Well, I want you to follow us on social media. Twitter at TalkBackLive, that's one word, at TalkBackLive. Also Facebook, facebook.com, TalkBackLive Network. Also Talkback Live with Bob and Josh on Facebook as well, to keep up with everything Talkback Live Network related. So, I'm just going to dive right on in to the show today. Y'all know we do every Tuesday, man, so we're ready to get it. And so, I'm going a little spiel here. The NFL, usually I start with Tigers and everything like that. If you guys want to talk Tigers, you can still do so as well. Once again, 901, number 901-213-6020 is the number to call if you want to call to talk about anything, not just Tigers, but also the NFL and everything else that I plan on getting into on today. But first, as really I just stated, I want to start off with the NFL. And here's why. Because I'm excited about something, folks. I'm excited about what happened last night. I'm excited about what the league is beginning to see and beginning to wake up to, so to speak. And what that is greatness. Greatness is happening before our very eyes, and all we have to do is just sit back and enjoy it. And I'm not even a fan of this team. You know, I don't have anything against them, but it's not my team. You know, it's not where I say, oh, I'm so proud of them because this is my team. That's not the case here. This is a story of success, of triumph, of beating the odds, of doing something when nobody thought you could. That's what this story is all about, and that's what I'm here to talk about this afternoon. Because going into the Thanksgiving holiday, everybody has what they're thankful for, right? What I'm thankful for, other than, you know, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, as some of y'all may not know, but I believe most of y'all do know, for my Titans being relevant again in the playoff race. But that's not even what I'm most thankful for. I am most thankful in the sports world, in the NFL world, for the Lamar Jackson story. Now, when we talk about Lamar Jackson, what are we talking about? We're talking about a kid that was a Heisman Trophy winner at the University of Louisville that put on a show in college unlike anything we've seen since Michael Vick. So when you put all that into consideration, and, you know, he spent 2 years, and both years were pretty spectacular, both running and throwing the football. But you know what happens to quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson in the draft process usually? They get pigeonholed into being a prototypical quarterback that is only one-dimensional. You see a black quarterback, you see athleticism, and the automatic assumption is, oh, he can't throw the football. Oh, he's not really a quarterback. Oh, well, you know, he's a nice story, but this, that, and the other. He's a nice story,
but. He's a nice story, but. He's a good kid, but he can't lead a franchise as the quarterback. Well, look at these highlights you're seeing right now. I got them on the screen right next to me. This was from Monday Night Football. This was Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in Los Angeles, in their stadium known as the Coliseum, home of the USC Trojans and now the Los Angeles Rams as of right now. The LA Rams team that was in the Super Bowl. A LA Rams team that is 6-4 with a solid defense. Just, added Jalen Ramsey a few weeks ago to the defense. Things of that nature. And Lamar Jackson walked into Los Angeles and said, "This is my house." He didn't go up there, timid. He didn't go up there saying, "Oh, I can't throw the football," or this, that, and the other. He went up in there and scored 5 touchdowns. He went up in there and ran the ball. He went up in there and threw the ball, as you see, up and down the field at will. You see the Los Angeles fans in shock, in disbelief. There's another touchdown. Continuing to run the score up. This is probably the best story I could think about in sports. Look at that score, 41-6. You're talking about a beatdown of epic proportions. And you may wonder, well, Josh, I know that this ain't even your team. Why are you so fired up about it? I'm fired up about it because I like to see a story about a guy overcoming the odds. I like to see a story about a guy that was doubted by everybody. And look, I'm going to even tell you, last year, when the Ravens decided to go with Lamar Jackson, right, over Joe Flacco in the playoffs, I was shocked, first of all, that Harbaugh was willing to do that for this kid and to do the things he did to put that trust in him. I wasn't sure if Lamar Jackson was ready. I really was not. Didn't know a ton about his development, this, that, and the other. But for whatever reason, Harbaugh saw something that a lot of people didn't. Maybe because he's actually the head coach and he sees practice all the time. He sat Joe Flacco's average self down and said, "Look, I've been coaching Joe Flacco all this time. I know that he's never going to do what he did that one run where they went to the Super Bowl and he looked unstoppable. He's never going to do that again." Joe Flacco got a huge contract off of that one playoff run. But what we're watching now, I really don't think is just an example of a one-trick pony, of a one-time situation. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson is going to do this every season. But the thing is, man, he's showing us something that we haven't seen ever. I can't even say Vic, because from what I see right now, this early in his development, Jackson is a better passer and really a better quarterback than Michael Vick was at this stage of his career. I don't think anybody could doubt that at this point. I was a huge Vic fan. I don't think you can doubt that at this point, you're talking about a Lamar Jackson that is, elite right now. And don't underestimate the quarterback skills, because everybody's saying, well, he can't do this and they can't do that. And I was listening to, before I tell you what I was listening to, let me read off these stats for you. And I'm going to show you another picture here as well, just to kind of amplify the point. Here's what's happened this season under Lamar Jackson. They have beaten 4 teams this season by at least 34 points. They've won 4 games this year by at least 34 points. They are currently on a 7-game winning streak. Hottest team in the NFL right now. Here's a look at something else. They beat the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson by 30 points. Well, they scored 30 points. Let me be correct on that. So I remember seeing the game. No, that wasn't right. They scored 30 points against the Seahawks. Against the New England Patriots, the number one defense in the NFL, that just held the Cowboys to 9 points and 3 field goals. Lamar Jackson's offense scored 37 points. Scored 49 against Cincinnati. And I know that's a terrible team. 41 against the Houston Texans. 45 against the Los Angeles Rams. So, this is absolutely incredible. Once again, I said a 7-game winning streak. Look at who he's beating right now. He beat Russell Wilson, who's in the MVP conversation as well. He beat Tom Brady. A lot of people call him the GOAT, the greatest of all time. He beat Deshaun Watson, another fellow elite young African-American quarterback with the Houston Texans. He beat Jared Goff, one of the most overrated quarterbacks I've ever seen. I never liked Jared Goff. Even with the Super Bowl run, I didn't like Jared Goff. It showed how good of a coach the Rams coach was to mask how average Jared Goff was. I think you're starting to see that this year. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, look at that picture. And I was glad I saw this tweet. Never forget that 31 teams passed on Lamar Jackson. Look at that picture of him. I believe that's his mother. He's leaning, and not feeling very good because he's a guy that won a Heisman Trophy and had 2 outstanding seasons at Louisville. But everybody is saying, you probably need to play wide receiver, son. You probably need to change positions if you want to play in this league. And I say this all the time. No disrespect to a degree to people that work for NFL teams and things of that nature, or even in sports, period. But I always feel like preconceived notions a lot of times reign supreme when they shouldn't in most sports. When you see a guy that plays a certain way, automatically you think this. You put this guy in this box. No matter what you're actually seeing. You can actually see that kid win and have intangibles and show you he can throw the football and do this and do that. But you'll still, because he runs around and because he's black, you're going to say, well, he's a great athlete. He's got to work on that arm. Look, this is his second year in the league. Lamar Jackson's thrown for 2,427 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 picks. 5. He's not even turning the ball over. And this is not like it's some great system. They've done a great job catering to what Lamar Jackson can do, but at the same time, this is the NFL. You can't function if you can't throw. You may have a short stint of success, but you can't do this repeatedly. And at this point, teams have had time to scout Lamar, to scout the Ravens and see what they do. And he's just getting better and better. It's amazing. I love it. He has a quarterback rating of 81.9. 81.9. Lamar Jackson's QBR. So that's for the nerds. For the analytics crowd out there. That's for y'all. So all I know is, man, I'm a big fan of Lamar Jackson. I love what he's done this season, and you just love to see a situation where a guy is just proving everybody wrong. And he's having fun. If you look at Lamar, just think about the way he plays the game. You watch him run around out there, man. He is having the time of his life. And that's what you want. That is what you want. Let me show you. And once again, if you want to actually join the conversation, you can do so. Okay, y'all warning. 901-213-6020. You can call in and you can join in on what we're talking about here. Talking about Lamar Jackson's record-setting, outstanding performance against the LA Rams, and how he just continues to be a force to be reckoned with in this league. But think about this. This man walked into Los Angeles, and not just the win that he got, because that's always going to be impressive, right? But what ended up happening, he didn't just destroy the Rams in LA. They were chanting MVP. They were chanting MVP in LA for the opponent. This dude is really becoming a polarizing figure in this league. It's incredible. Now, this is what I mean by poor takes. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. There's a guy named Clay Travis. Media pundit, so to speak. A lot of people call him a shock jock, whatever you want to say, right? He has a weekly spot on the local radio here in Memphis, where he comes on a weekly basis. And I've said publicly, I've said on social media, that I think it is pathetic that he's even allowed to have a platform in this area, because of his quasi-racist way of thinking. But here's the thing. This is what annoys me. Here, and if y'all disagree, feel free to let me know. But this is what annoys me about some pundits, right? Here's a tweet from Clay Travis. We've reached, if you don't believe Lamar Jackson is the greatest quarterback in the history of the universe, then you are racist. In record time here on Twitter, the dude has started 19 NFL games. Based on NFL history, I'm not ready to put him in Canton. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and as much as I've looked around, I have not seen anybody, you guys let me know if you've seen it, I haven't seen anybody say that if you don't believe Lamar Jackson is quote-unquote the greatest quarterback in the history of the universe, that you're a racist. I don't think I've ever seen anybody say that. But what I have seen, and what I will say now, is that for people like this, that will sit and ignore the stats that Lamar Jackson's putting up, and will skip over praising, I'm not even saying you got to praise the guy, acknowledge it. If you cover the sport, what is wrong with you acknowledging what exists? But you want to skip over that and jump to this conversation that doesn't even really exist. So what really is your point in bringing that up? So that's all I'm saying, man. And maybe I'm even feeding into it by bringing it up. Let's see. I see Jason Michael on one of the watch parties here. Says Teddy Bridgewater is the real MVP. Well, Teddy B, look, I love what Teddy Bridgewater did this year while standing in for Drew Brees. Teddy B, he proved that he needs to be starting in the NFL. I'll tell you that much. I mean, that much is for certain. He proved that he is an NFL starter. Now, look, I don't blame New Orleans for bringing back Drew Brees by any means. But let's just be real. Teddy Bridgewater, I think he didn't lose a game. And he didn't just manage the game. He thrived. He won games for the Saints. So, hey, Bridgewater, look, I'd love to have him as my quarterback. Doesn't matter what team it is. And I think he, depending on how long Drew Brees stays in New Orleans, I don't know if they want to hang on to Bridgewater so he can be the heir apparent, or do you move on and try to draft somebody? I'm not sure. But Bridgewater's going to be great somewhere. It's no question about that. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, man, once again, outstanding performance. Monday Night Football on a gigantic stage, and That's something that I'm extremely happy about, and I have no problem with praising it for the obvious reasons. But look, I think it would be a disservice to Lamar Jackson to just quantify his success as just because he's a black quarterback. The man is balling. And I love the fact that he is breaking stereotypes, even about who he is as a player. Look at his throw on the run. Going to his left pinpoint, and it's not like a bomb or anything, but that is an outstanding pass. So, regardless, those are just my thoughts on it as well. GKP, what's happening, brother? Glad to see you coming in the building. Dominic, what's up, man? He said Clay has always been one to play to his base listeners and to get a shock out of people. That's very true. And, look, I know there's a lot of shock jocks. A lot of people, you look at Skip Bayless. I think he definitely has elements of that, even though I think Skip believes more of what he says than Clay Travis. And I just think it happens to be shocking. That's kind of what I believe about Skip Bayless. Stephen A., I think he definitely has some shock jock in him. But it's just something about Clay Travis and his bass that he plays to that really gets on my nerves. And it's anybody's right to have him as a guest on their show, but it's also, I think, the people's right to not listen. People black and white and whatever else the case may be. So it is what it is. But what's up, Greg? I see you, brother. Y'all just coming in the building. I was talking about Lamar Jackson and how he literally dismantled the Rams. Give the Ravens defense credit as well now. Don't get me wrong. The Rams can do anything offensively. Some of that was because of Jared Goff and the offense. But at the same time, that Ravens defense is legit as well. And I really think this Ravens team is a Super Bowl contender. I think they're probably the most complete team in the AFC. I mean, look at the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots are the Patriots, right? They have an outstanding defense. They have Tom Brady. They have Bill Belichick. Based on that alone, you can never rule them out, so to speak. But at the end of the day, the best team, especially when they whooped the Patriots in the AFC, to me, is the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a terrible defense. The Chiefs can score with anybody, but they also need to score because they give up a lot of points. Case in point, look at my Titans and how we came back on them the other day. Despite, the Titans' deficiencies, and I know I kind of swerved into that a little bit, because that's my team again. If we were to face the Chiefs in the first round of a playoff game, however that would end up working out, I would feel pretty good about it. One, because Andy Reid's only beaten the Titans once in his career. Or 0 or 1 time in his entire career. And that's including a playoff game a couple of years ago in Arrowhead Stadium. But it just seemed like the Titans have had the Chiefs as well over the last couple of years. So, Greg says, I'm pleasantly surprised with Lamar Jackson, I must admit. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this question. Greg, GKP, Dominic, whoever else is on. I see lots of people coming in. Jason, who's on my watch party over here. All of y'all different people. You can also, once again, call to join the conversation. 901-213-6020. It's kind of a impromptu show today. Final show before the Thanksgiving holiday. So once again, I definitely appreciate y'all all year for this venture that we went into, and I think it's going pretty well. Matter of fact, if you want to keep up with more things about us, if this is the first time you're seeing me, be sure and like our Facebook page. You see up top there, Talkback Live with Bob and Josh. Like our page, follow us, check us out there. Follow us on Twitter at Talkback Live, and keep up with the show. We go live all the time. Lots of programming coming up soon as well. Lots of new things we're trying to do, so y'all keep in touch, stick and stay. So, is Lamar Jackson the best quarterback in the NFL? I say yes. I think not only that, he is the front runner by a long shot at this point for MVP of the NFL. Just my opinion, just one man's thoughts, and the ravings of a man that's a Lamar Jackson fan. But those are just my thoughts, man. I think he's the front runner for MVP, and I think by default, that makes him the best player at his position in the NFL. So give me your thoughts. And if you just look at the landscape, I can't really see if anybody else has been more consistent overall in everything that he does than Lamar Jackson. So I've been raved about him most of the show today. So I think that's good on that. But if you want to comment on that, you still can do so. So now, as I bring up the man himself, you see him on your screen. And if you're not watching on Facebook, you listen on Spreaker. The picture I'm talking about and my next topic is Mike Norvell. Mr. Mike Norvell, the head coach of the Memphis Tigers football team. The man with the plan, a lot of people like to say. The Tigers are 10-1. Heading into the final game of the regular season on Black Friday. Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Taking on a team that has been known to be a rival. The Cincinnati Bearcats, that is. Cincinnati's undefeated in the AAC in their half of the conference. And coming into this game with a lot of expectations. So, we're talking about a situation where Memphis may end up playing Cincinnati back-to-back. This week, Tigers win. You're more than likely going to play Cincinnati again the following week in the AAC championship game. So with that being said, I have a few questions. We know that the rumor mill has started just a tad bit to pick up when it comes to Mike Norvell and his name being mentioned. We know Arkansas allegedly met with Mike Norvell, according to who you want to believe. But Arkansas came out and denied it. Said, no, we have not met with Norvell. I believe they are interested. I don't know how interested Mike Norvell is, but I do think, here's what I think is happening. I'm just going to come right out with it. I think Mike Norvell is scouting the land, right? I think he's kind of poking his agent. He's kind of poking the bear, poking their head out there. So, okay, if my client were interested, what are you looking to offer? This, that, and the other. Looking around the landscape. And I think it's smart not to rush into anything. And I don't think Norvell is going to make the same mistake that Justin Fuente did. Because you remember with Fuente, really, and if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember, the Tigers were higher ranked than they are now under Norvell. If you remember, after the Ole Miss win, the big Ole Miss win when they beat the Kimdichie brothers, Robert and Denzel Kimdichie, and Robert Kimdichie got knocked out at the goal line. I remember that all too well. But I bring that up to say the Tigers were at the height of their situation. They were even being talked about as an outside chance to get into the National Football Playoff, things of that nature. What happened after that? The rumors about Virginia Tech popped up and ruined the season. Paxton Lynch's performance dropped off a cliff. The defense, offense, everything dropped off a cliff. You could tell the distraction was affecting the team, and ultimately, it ruined the season that could have been. They lost 2 of the last 3 or 3 of the last 4, something like that. They have an embarrassing performance against Auburn when Fuente was already in Blacksburg, Virginia, at that point. So that was one of those things. Now, Norvell, I really think this is very important to him, the state that he's at right now. Because you got to think, this is the culmination. This year, you're at the precipice of greatness for this program. This is the last game of the regular season. You cannot afford to lose now. You lose to Cincinnati, and I'm curious how this works, but I know the Tigers have the tiebreaker over Navy. Even if Navy does win, whatever the case is, I don't know how that's going to work. I hear that Navy has a chance. I don't even know how that's possible. But you don't even want to take the risk of losing and not making it to the AAC title game. Because if you don't make it to the AAC title game, you're not making it to the New Year's Six Bowl. You have to win both of these games. And I think Norvell is smart enough to know that he needs to do whatever it takes to keep this team focused, to keep himself focused, while at the same time taking care of your own personal business. And I think the rumor about Norvell meeting with Arkansas, personally, I believe he met with Arkansas. I do. I didn't, but thinking about it now, I really think he did. I don't know how interested he is in Arkansas. I don't think they wanted to get out that he met with Arkansas, hence Arkansas's reaction. But I think it was leaked intentionally by Norvell's agent for leverage purposes, for negotiating purposes, for Memphis to know on the sly that, hey, what are you willing to do? Because, as much as everything's been great around here, I'm looking at this money, I'm looking at that. So as far as business-wise, I get it. It's just what happens. It's the name of the beast. But as long as he keeps it carefully under wraps and doesn't let anything get out of control when it comes to rumors, then I think things can be fine. Because I don't think he wants to leave until everything's done. I really don't think so. I think he really wants to finish. And if I'm him, of course you would. You want to finish on top. Can you imagine Memphis making it to the Cotton Bowl, playing a Florida, or even an Alabama? You never know, because the way Alabama is looking like they're on the outside looking into the playoff situation with Tua Tagovailoa being out. There's no telling where they may end up. They could lose another game here or there with the Iron Bowl coming up against Auburn, which I don't think is going to happen. But you just never know. So I got to take all that into consideration. But this is what I will say, Tiger Nation, Memphis, and the surrounding area and everybody else. I said it before, and I will say it again. Let me get closer to the mic. Didn't mean to hit the mic. Mike Norvell would be a plumb fool to leave Memphis right now. Especially if it's for Arkansas or a job similar to that. Heard about Michigan State possibly opening up, right? No way I would go up there. That's really outside of his recruiting base. Not that his base is Memphis, but where he usually recruits players from, it's kind of a whole nother situation up there. You're talking about competing with the Ohio States of the world, the Michigans of the world, the Wisconsins of the world, so on and so forth. The Minnesotas of the world, Minnesota that's amazing this year. Penn State, you don't want those problems. You don't want those problems if you're Mike Norvell. You just don't. And I hear this about money. Don't get me wrong. I know money is the main goal at the end of the day. But I must run down a list for you guys. And I need you to hear me. I stated this, and this podcast is going to come out. Deliberation Sports, myself, Justice Bolden, Evan DeVoe, it's going to be coming out within the next day or so where we discuss this. And there was a bit of disagreement between myself and Evan about this. But my thoughts are, let's look at some other coaches. Let's look at a Tom Herman, who was the hottest coaching prospect in the country at one point at Houston. The amazing job he did there. What's happening in Texas right now? Now, it may be dumb for them to even bring up his name as firing him when last year they were really good, but not so much this year. For no real reason, they dropped off a huge cliff. Out of nowhere, after starting the season extremely well with Sam Ellinger, quarterback, all of that going on. Tom Herman, whoa, dropped off a cliff. How about another coach? Former AAC coach, Scott Frost. Do you remember Scott Frost? It was the young up-and-coming Coaches Bowl, a.k.a. the AAC title game a couple of years ago, where Memphis played Central Florida, an undefeated Central Florida team that went on to beat Auburn in a bowl game. An Auburn team that was this close to a national title that year. Scott Frost, the next big thing in coaching, right? He went to Nebraska to go and bring his old school back to power, right? They're ready to fire him now. This is his second year in Nebraska, and they're ready to kick him to the curb. They done forgot all about the hometown boy. They don't know who he is anymore. Let's talk about another guy. Let's talk about Willie Taggart, former coach at South Florida, the South Florida Bulls. Brother Willie did a great job at South Florida. Went to Oregon, did a pretty good job, a decent job, recruiting guys like Dylan Mitchell, the standout receiver running back from Memphis, who's now in the NFL and had some great years at Oregon. But he went from Oregon to Florida State. Why? Because he saw the golden carrot of the name of the Florida State Seminoles, Bobby Bowden, Jimbo Fisher, the histories, Deion Sanders, the great rivalries in the 90s and 80s, and the name of Florida State pulled him there. And what happened to Willie Taggart? 1.5 years. Done. Fired. Kaput. Whatever you want to say. And I'm not saying those guys can't coach, but you have to understand, when you take that next step and you sign that big money contract, the expectations are crazy. You're not the golden boy anymore. Norvell can do whatever he wants in Memphis. You know, he can use the restroom in the middle of Beale Street, you know, squat down and use the restroom in the middle of Beale Street, and people will give him a stand ovation. But if you go anywhere else, you have to start over, brother. And you're going to have to show some results pretty quickly because of the impatience of fan bases now, because of the impatience of athletic programs now, especially the bigger they are. I'm not saying don't take the money, but if you're going to take that money, you need to think about what you're heading into, because you can't come back to Memphis. That's done. That's going to be gone. No more Liberty Bowl. No more of that. Now, Memphis, I think, will be fine. I think Norvell has left, if he does leave, will leave Memphis in a great point, at a great state, where I think they can get another young up-and-coming coach, and I've said it before, talked about on the podcast, talked about on this show, Chip Long, former Mike Norvell offensive coordinator. Followed him from, I believe, Arizona State to Memphis. What is currently the offensive coordinator of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish under Brian Kelly. Hey, he's an up-and-coming head coaching prospect. Why not come back to Memphis? You already have recruiting bases planted here. You have connections here. You know the athletic department. You know the way around, you know what I'm saying? So I think Memphis, if Norvell leaves, will be fine. But when it comes to Norvell, I don't know if he's going to be fine. So we'll see what happens. But let me read some of these comments here. Greg says, I watched him. This is going back to Lamar Jackson. I watched him at Louisville and loved his game, but I didn't think his skill set would translate completely enough to the NFL. Same here, to be honest with you. Dominic says, best player in the league, and it's not even close. the way he's playing right now. And not saying he would keep this up. He is the most dangerous offensive player I've seen in a long time. He has Michael Vick legs with a better arm. Great way to put it. Greg, as far as Mike Norvell is concerned, he would be foolish not to have these conversations. I agree. Bruce Bynum, how you doing, sir? He says Norvell is staying. I hope you're right. I think he should. Greg says if he wins the conference championship and the Cotton Bowl, I think he will be gone. Now, that's an interesting point, right? Because if he does do that, in all fairness, there's literally nothing else you can do at Memphis other than the outside chance of making it to a national title game, which, you know, let's be honest, you have to be a special type of non-Power 5 school to ever get into that conversation. And really, it doesn't even depend on you at that point, because arguably Memphis might be the best non-Power 5 school in the country right now. If not, they're top 2 or 3. And they are nowhere near the national title conversation. So, and they're 10-1. So if that's not going to do it, I don't know what will. So, you know, it really would take the landscape to have to fit. All the right teams will have to lose and all of that stuff. So it would take a lot. So that I would understand that more if he left under those circumstances. And hey, what better way to leave? But what I said still stands when it comes to expectations elsewhere. Dominic said there's an interesting development there with Willie Taggart's contract since he has been fired. Apparently, he never signed it, and now Florida State may be trying to get out of paying the buyout at the full 8-figure price tag. Oh, my God. How do you not sign it? To me, that's bad business on Willie Taggart's part. I mean, how do you not sign the contract? All that money that basically essentially guarantees you that if you get fired that they still have to pay you. Oh, man. I definitely want to keep up with that. And Dominic, I know we're going to link back up next week with the Business of Sports segment, brother. So I appreciate your commentary on that in the comments as well. And congrats to you as well, man, with the KWAM 990 gig for the startup life. So big shout out to my guy Dominic Lawson. Tony Bonner said he'd be wise to stay. I agree with you. I agree. I think ultimately, what's more important? What is more important? What's more realistic? What's the best scenario for everybody? Do you stay and build a supreme non-Power 5 powerhouse year in, year out, winning AAC championships and coming close to making it to the big bowl? Or do you duck out while the getting's getting good? Get that big money contract elsewhere and carry the albatross of starting all over again? That is the ultimate question. We'll see. We shall see. I just hope that pressure of that decision does not come down on Norvell, because he's got a lot going on right now. He's got a team that's on the precipice of greatness. He's got his name out there more than it's ever been. And once some of these schools fire their coaches, I do think they're going to come calling to a degree, even though they haven't yet, and that is interesting. But you're not going to see teams let go of their coaches for a few weeks yet, you know. Maybe after this last regular season game, depending on the teams that they know aren't going to make a bowl. I'm sure you're going to see some movement at that point. But we'll see, man. But all we do know is Friday night, Black Friday, Tigers, Cincinnati Bearcats, Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Get down there, sell that place out, man. Let's show the nation that Memphis is a football and a basketball school when it comes down to it. Let's see. Dominic Lawson says, I'll dive into the story some, and we will have that for the people next week. Absolutely. It's a great teaser. It's quite interesting. Tony Bonner says Mike might be cut from a different, better cloth and resist clout chasing and stay. Great point. We'll see. We'll see what type of cloth he's made out of. Is it that quality Nike cloth like you see in that Memphis Polo? You know what I'm saying? Or is it that terry cloth? Who knows? But we'll see, man. All I know is I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in, for watching, for listening, for checking me out on today. We talked a lot about my guy Lamar Jackson and his incredible accomplishments at Baltimore. We talked about everything. We talked about Mike Norvell. We talked about Tiger football. Tiger basketball has a big game coming up Thursday night, really Thursday afternoon. The game's going to be at 3 o'clock Central Time. So that's very interesting on a Thursday. Thanksgiving, of course, is on Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are going to be home checking that out. It's the Barclays Classic in Brooklyn, New York. They're going to be playing in the home of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and company. The Barclays Center in Brooklyn, taking on North Carolina State. So y'all stay tuned for that, man. The Wolfpack ACC opponent for the Tigers. Another ACC team that is 5-1, as a matter of fact. So I'm looking forward to the Tigers taking on that test and seeing what they got. So that's going to do it for me, man, here on Talkback Live Sports, another edition in the books. That's going to do it for us for this week. I just want to say, man, I appreciate y'all for hitting us up and supporting the shows in every capacity. Be sure you follow our social media, as I will stress one more time. Facebook, Talkback Live with Bob and Josh. We also have a Twitter at Talkback Live. Follow us there. You can also search the show, download the Spreaker app, Spreaker. And once you download it, search for Talkback Live. One word, Talkback Live. And you will find all of our programming there. We are also available on multiple podcast outlets. That is including Spotify, Google Podcasts, and the iHeartRadio app, as you can see right there on your screen. Check out everything Talkback Live related. So, that ain't further ado, man. That's going to do it for me. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your families, your friends, your neighbors, your brothers, your cousins, your favorite sports teams. And I will talk to you guys next time.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Pedestrian safety is a two-way street. Both drivers and walkers need to do their part to keep roads safe. When you're walking, remember, the drivers may not always see you, so remember to use these tips to continue to walk safely. Wear black clothes. Always use crosswalks and obey signs. Lights and reflectors should be used. And finally, keep alert and do not walk distracted. This message brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
CJ Used Appliances, located at 3530 Jackson Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances have the best prices in town. Sales and service, heating and air. Also the best appliances you'll find anywhere in the Mid-South. Refrigerators, microwave stoves, washers and dryers, deep freezers, dishwashers, whatever you need in used appliances. And folks, I'll tell you, they're the best used appliances anywhere you'll find. That's CJ Used Appliances, 3530 Jackson Avenue. All appliances come with warranty. You can call them at 901-487-7882. Again, 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances. B-Graphics Printing, located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis. A complete print shop for all your printing needs. They do it all. Color copies, resumes, funeral programs, rubber stamps, full-color business cards, wedding and graduation invitations, and more. 30-plus years of quality work and service. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, Tennessee, 901-345-9294. C Graphics Printing. CNS Motors Auto Sales, located at 2508 Summer Avenue, here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-323-8778. CNS Motors Auto Sales has been around since 1984. Go by and see Chris today for some of the best pre-owned and used vehicles in the city. They have SUVs, minivans, cars, trucks, whatever you're looking for in pre-owned used vehicles. Hey, you can find it right there at CNS Motors Auto Sales. See Chris since 1984. They will treat you right. Call them at 901-323-8778. That's 901-323-8778, 2508 Summer Avenue, CNS Motors Auto Sales.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or a mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.